Good morning, good afternoon, dear participants, dear panelists. Let us start the meeting, the webinar. We took a few seconds to give a chance for other participants to join, so we'll gladly start. Let me introduce myself. My name is Igor Volovic. I'm coordinator of Northwest Pacific Action Plan, which is a UNEP-administered regional SEAS program. And today we have the first webinar of this kind, namely it's addressing marine litter in the Northwest Pacific region. And as you see on the screen, we have 6 panelists who will present their work and different aspects of combating marine litter in the Northwest Pacific. So I really thank Global Partnership for Marine Litter and our UNEP colleagues for giving us a chance to showcase what we've been busy with. And our panelists, they're also selected very smartly, so they do represent different stakeholders. We have governmental representatives, we have representatives of science, we have representatives of intergovernmental mechanisms, as well as UN staff dealing with various aspects of ocean governance, including marine litter. So let me, because we have just 1 hour, let me quickly introduce our agenda. We will have 6 presentations, which will start with Dr. Feng Yang, Director of our Data and Information Network Regional Activity Center based in Beijing. And since DINRAC is hosting the NOWPAP regional node of the Global Partnership on Marine Litter, he will update us on what they are doing. We will also hear from our GPML colleagues on digital platforms, particularly with focus on Data Hub. And Dr. Anna Bowser and Ms. Marta Otogali will present and describe what we are talking about. We'll hear details of the development of the NOWPAP Regional Action Plan on Marine Litter. And my dear colleague, Dr. Ning Liu, will present what how NOWPAP is successful progressing in this very important aspect. We will hear about G20 implementation framework for actions of marine plastic. And Mr. Keiji Nakashima-san from the Ministry of Environment of Japan will give some insights on what's happening. And last but not least, we'll hear some scientific assessment of the marine litter in the NOWPAP region presented by Dr. Sun-Wook Hong from our Seas of East Asian Network. So with this said, I want to give the floor, so to say, to Dr. Feng Yang, Director of our DINRAC Regional Activity Center. Feng, I will be showing your presentation, so when you're ready with the slide, just let me know by saying next, and I will be moving through your presentation. Yeah. Over to you.
Okay, thank you, Jäger. Good afternoon, dear colleagues from UNEP. My name is Feng Yan, and I'm from NOWPAP DINRAC. So on this part, I would like just very briefly to update to you about the work progress for GPML NWP Pacific Region Node's work. So next slide, please. So for the purpose of this node will be to harmonize networking to promote the multi-party exchange on marine litter issues and promote the study of the regional marine management system based on our online platform. And also we are formulating the relevant databases to improve the regional marine litter data collection and analysis. And also we do have some kind of a case study to explore the practical cases for marine litter issues. And also we have like the publicity and education part module to formulating the publicity platform for the general public to participate in the activities for the regional environment marine litter campaigns. Next, please. So this is the last year activity we have organized about the regional beach cleanup operations in Shanghai coastal area. Next, please. With our regional partners from China, Japan, Korea, and Russia. And also, this is another campaign in Shenzhen, like a regional plastic collection there. Next, please. With our partner Shanghai Rendu NPO. And also, we have developed like we call the marine litter monitoring system based on mobile-based app. And we could collect all the information and the feedback from this app users to have some very fundamental on-site marine litter data monitoring. So this is just a layout for this app, and also we could have some information about this campaign, and also the photos as it is standard monitoring statistical results based on this app. Next, please. And also we have developed a multi-language version for this app. And you can see that this can be have like a social media function there about this app. Up to now, there are over 100 organizations using this this MLNS app to record this data regionally, mainly in China. Yeah. Next, please. And also we have some research, joint research with our partners. We have our partner East China Normal University have just drafted a regional marine plastic standardized methodology guidelines. This can be also very good, important or a guideline for the regional to be referred. Next, please. And regionally, we will continuously exchange and cooperate with our partners in technical methods, and also to on the part of the practical experiences about the coastal area, coastal cities, and also to improve the networking about among the, we have other regional mechanism like we call TAM, China, and also plus X, we call with other Southeast Asian countries to get harmonious actions this year to have a dialogue and a cooperation platform, particularly on the marine litter issues. And further, we could have like technical exchanges among these countries to address marine litter and protect marine biodiversity issues. Furthermore, we could have like the knowledge hub to have the interlink with these countries and this relevant institute to work together, especially on the plastic pollution control. Next, please. So this is a suggestion for the future cooperation on marine litter management for the region node. As I mentioned, that to get more exchanges on the marine litter method and the data sharing, and to get more open sources for the marine litter in our regional nodes website, and also in other GPML partners website to to do more on the policy dialogue for this particular marine litter issues, and improve the regional ability to control the entry of plastic debris into the marine environment at source. Next, please. So this is basically our future work directions, as I mentioned earlier, to cooperate with our stakeholders, to do more applied researches, and to have some data collection with our internal partners regularly, and formulate the more comprehensive knowledge sharing platform, and do some value evaluation on the based on our monitor data. Next, please. I think we have some recommendations based on our discussion previously. So we will rely on this platform to do like a regional node to give more richness and visualization of our data display based on this node, and to combine the construction work with our data analysis and researches to get more visualized data to enhance the display degree of the data issues about the region. Yeah, I think this is the end of our presentation. Yeah, finally we have like the work plan based on the NOWPAP middle term plan, and also we have do some data modeling issues based on this work plan with our partner in RepMali focal points support to standardize some norms about the data exchange and data collection about marine data issues to enhance the regional technical support and cooperation on the marine data issues. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Young. The very interesting presentation. Since I don't see any questions in the chat box, I still give you like a few seconds. I just want to mention that it's so important to see that quite a number of activities were implemented during the COVID-19 pandemic. So this is quite important to keep the business going. So it's really nice to see. What I also noticed that really important activities on publicizing what you are doing. This is extremely important, and also capacitating different stakeholders. So it's really good to see that happening. And last but not least, I really felt that regional node is something we're doing to support activities of the global partnership on marine litter in the NOWPAP region. And that's what I really have capacity for, and we are happy to continue. We have big plans for the next year as well. So still no questions. So, and since there are no questions, we move on. And next presentation, I will hand over to Anne and Marta. Anne and Marta, please, over to you, please.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Good morning and good afternoon. I will be quickly going through a demo and showcasing the GPML digital platform, and then I'll let my colleague Anne Bowser speak further on the data aspects and feature development of the platform. So before I start the demo, a quick overview and background on the platform rationale, which is to integrate data and information from multiple sources, to do so by also connecting stakeholders for ad hoc and or regular collaboration, but also to enable identification of gaps and priority actions, so to guide such action based on the best available knowledge, and at the same time facilitate target setting and measuring progress towards environmental goal indicators. As you can see, the platform is meant for a wide range of stakeholders, and what's really important is to understand the different functions of the platform will allow not just a distributed open data capture, but also an integrated experience of the knowledge available, and going forward a personalization and learning experience, which is supported by a validated and curated publishing process, as well as an integrated geospatial data mapping and analysis features also supported by validated and curated publishing process. And lastly, enablement of stakeholders to connect through smart matchmaking functionalities and additional engagements and collaboration opportunities. We are developing the platform throughout phases. So I'll quickly demo the first phase of the platform, which describes the first steps of bringing together the database resources and stakeholders, and will then speak about future development phases. Note that we are developing such platform by a user-centered stakeholder approach, by consulting with the stakeholders, as well as consulting with a variety of partners to ensure both a focus on knowledge, data, as well as strategic partnership and technology enablement. So I'll move to the demo, and let me start by showing you quickly that through this map, we've enabled is the ability to really have a quick view over resources we've been able to identify through various ways that go from initiative to action plans to technology resources up to policy and technologies, and the different layers will display and provide a quick view of what has been identified. But what's really important is that the platform, being an open source and crowdsourced platform, will enable submissions of new resources. So just quickly showing that once someone wishes to request submissions of new resources, they will be prompted to sign up to enable, and I'll show you the example with the events, to enable new resources to be uploaded, and to enable so then a collaboration between the different communities creating such resources and existing resources that have already been uploaded in the platform. So as you can see, this form will be created for any resource type and will be made available throughout this phase 2. So just to quickly also show that entities and stakeholders have also we've also started mapping that and enabling then throughout phase 2 this smart matchmaking functionalities. And lastly, resources are accessible to members and non-members of the GPML, and then once joining the GPML, there is an option for entities to become actual members of the partnership Marine Litter, or for individuals to become part of the GPML digital platform community. So I'll now pass it over to my colleague Anne Bowser to discuss further the focus of phase 2 and the development of the data aspects of the platform. So there it is.
Thank you very much, Marta, for that overview. As many of you know, we have an evolving data strategy, and it underpins all of our development work. Recognizing that a lot of data on marine litter and plastic pollution already exists, our goal is to offer a coordinated point of access for stakeholders to find trusted data and information across the full life cycle from source to fate. And we will achieve this goal through 3 main objectives. By curating existing data, we will become the central node in a federated network, offering access to open and fair information. We will also curate information by connecting the data portal to the broader GPML digital platform, for example, by linking peer-reviewed publications to open datasets. We see an opportunity to add value to open data through analysis. including sharing the results of top-tier scientific research and providing GIS tools for tasks like visualizing and layering that any interested stakeholder can use. Finally, we encourage innovation through attention to newer data streams like citizen science, Earth observations, and machine learning. Ultimately, our goal is to support a range of monitoring and assessment processes, including those existing and those under development. Our focus on innovation will extend to good data practices and open data policy, and processes for data governance and quality review. Next slide, please. And we will accomplish these goals and objectives by building 3 interlinked technical components. A data catalog will allow users to search and filter for relevant data sets and eventually register information and provide access to their own data. A GIS portal will provide the visual interface required for stakeholders to view existing analysis, as well as a sandbox for them to conduct their own. An API platform will support and underpin the catalog and GIS portal. The Data Hub will share and amplify data from activities led by UNEP and GPML partners, along with efforts from new partners and future GPML members. Next slide, please. Our efforts encompass the full life cycle of marine litter and plastic pollution from source to fate, including drivers, pressures, states, and impacts. We are taking the SDGs as our initial organizing structure while considering data from other established policy processes and information from innovative data streams as mentioned earlier on. To make the Data Hub accessible to a range of audiences, we will present data in original and interoperable formats alongside data collection or analysis methods, including both official metadata and step-by-step or how-to guides. In addition to scientific and technical analysis, we will also include education and outreach materials. Next slide. All of this requires dedicated efforts towards interoperability. Our first investments will support the development of an ontology, or a machine-readable representation of human knowledge, that models how the domain of marine litter and plastic pollution is structured and how information can be shared. This will benefit GPML in a number of ways. It will enable the understanding and reuse of information, especially across disciplines. Applying the ontology to digital processes like tagging and search will ultimately enhance the discovery, mobilization, and analysis of knowledge by humans and automated agents alike. Next slide. Work on the ontology will begin in May 2021, when key terms and definitions will be captured from expert sources including Understanding the State of the Ocean, a global manual, guidelines produced by GAZAMP, guidelines relevant to OSPAR, UNEP IOC guidelines, glossaries of key terms, and many more resources. A community of practice will be convened to peer review an initial ontology, with refinements through a final release in September 2021. Other complementary activities will include work on taxonomies and data and metadata standards to enable data sharing, interoperability, and harmonization. We will also invest in other types of standards, such as those related to the physical, chemical, and material properties of plastic. Next slide, please. As Marta mentioned, we're developing the GPML platform and Data Hub through a phased approach. Our phase 1 launch focused on developing the strategy for the Data Hub and prototyping a GIS platform, which will be available at the end of March. Now, we are ramping up our work on the data portal with phase 2. By September, we will solidify our strategic position and lock down key partnerships. We will also develop the technical data portal, including the API platform, catalog, and GIS Hub. We will have a phase 3 launch for UNEA 5B. During phase 3, we will create the tools required for users to share their own data, with a major focus on user-generated content to be featured in the phase 4 launch. Supporting user-generated content will help scale the GPML digital platform and support a wider range of analysis than was possible before. The goal of the final phase, released by June 2023, will be to create a stable ecosystem By this point, the data portal will be effectively supporting research, reporting, and indicator work. There will be clear business models for funding, established channels for supply and demand, and a vibrant infrastructure that was co-created and continues to thrive. Next slide. We are still looking for partners to get involved. We are in the process of finalizing our 15 data layers to feature for phase 2, so please get in touch if you have a recommendation. We are also beginning to consider how to empower leadership and curation through a Centers of Excellence model, which recognizes opportunities for partners to curate a certain type of data by topic or region. Lastly, we are looking for partners to help us understand innovative data streams, bridge silos through new analysis, and partner on the ontology and other standards. Last slide. Thank you very much, and please get in touch.
Thank you very much, Anna and Marta. We have, actually what I want to say is really what we've just seen is a very good example how you convert data into information into knowledge, and how you make this knowledge accessible. We've got one question which we saw in the chat box, and namely whether there are any plans to develop a mobile application which can provide connection to this portal in a much easier and accessible way. Who wants to reply, Marta or Anne? Over to you.
Yeah, happy to respond, and I'm sure my colleagues can follow. So as provided before, we are developing the platform through phases. So this functionality in mobile implementation is definitely part of features that we hope to implement in the next phases. We'll definitely prioritize the core features mentioned throughout the presentations in the first phases.
Thank you very much, Marta. Now we are moving to the third presentation, and Dr. Leo will update us on the developments in the NOWPAP region in terms of development of a regional action plan on marine litter. Ning, over to you, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Jörg. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to present NOWPAP Regional Action Plan on marine litter. Next, please. NOWPAP was established in 1994. It is part of UNEP's regional SACE program. We have 4 member states. They are China, Japan, Korea, and Russia. The overall goal of NOWPAP is to protect the marine and the coastal environment. Next, please. The mechanism of NOWPAP is that we have intergovernmental meeting which makes decisions for NOWPAP. We have regional activity centers based in each member states, and they implement NOWPAP activities together with the National Institute. For marine litter, we have marine litter national focal points, and also we work closely with NGOs in this region. Next, please. The NOWPAP Regional Action Plan on marine litter was adopted in 2008. There are 3 key elements: prevention, monitoring, and the removal of marine litter. Next, please. We have implemented this NOWPAP Regional Action Plan on marine litter through the organization of Marine Litter Management Workshop. Member states update the progress in policy development, investment, and actions related to marine litter. They also share best practices through this workshop and explore ways for bilateral or multilateral cooperation. We have enhanced the research through NOWPAP regional activity centers, and also we cooperated with NGOs closely and also raise awareness. Next, please. These are the pictures taken in the past few years on the marine litter management workshops we organized in Dalian, China, Busan, Toyama, and Vladivostok in this region. Next, please. For element 1, prevention of marine litter inputs, and China informed that China launched Zero Waste City initiative in 2019, and also the National Ecological Civilization Pilot Zone implementation plan issued on 12 May of 2019. In Japan, the fee incurring plastic checkout bags started in July 2020 in all stores across Japan. Local governments put their efforts to support Osaka Blue Ocean vision. Next, please. In Korea, the third National Marine Debris Management Plan for 2019 to 2023 is under implementation, and also Marine Waste Management Act took effect on the 4th of December 2020. In Russia, the waste management system in the Russian Far East had been improved drastically. 13 illegal dumps were closed in 2020. Next, please. With regard to research, we have published a number of publications, such as marine litter guidelines for tourists and tour operators in marine and coastal areas, best practice for preventing marine litter from land-based sources, and also national actions on marine microplastics research in this region. Regional overview with updated information on legal and administrative arrangement. A regional report on negative impacts on marine litter and the best practice of marine litter management in fisheries, aquaculture, and the shipping sectors. Next, please. For element 2, monitoring of marine litter, in China in 2019, marine litter monitoring was carried out in 49 regions across the country. Marine microplastics monitoring was carried out at 15 offshore sites in Bohai Sea and East China Sea. Next, please. In Japan, from 2010 to 2014, continuous survey were conducted at 7 locations. From 2015 to 2019, survey locations increased to 28. Next, please. Korea collected nationwide marine litter data from 40 different sites. The result for 2019 shows that in terms of numbers, plastics and styrofoam account for 80% of marine litter. Next slide, please. As Dr. Yan already introduced, the Northwest Pacific Regional Node was set up in 2015. Marine litter monitoring data since 2003 are available online. Next, please. With regard to research, we have published Understanding of Floating Marine Litter Distribution and Impacts, Review and Analysis of Existing Floating Marine Litter Prediction Models, Microplastics Content and Migration in the Peter the Great Gulf, and also the third regional overview on marine litter in the Northwest Pacific region. Next, please. For element 3, removal of existing marine litter, mainly focus on the national actions, the removal of existing marine litter, beach cleanup campaigns, and also the research activities related to marine litter. Next, please. Japan reported that in 2007, nearly 50,000 tons marine litter were removed from the sea. Next, please. And Korean reported that every year they collect about 84,000 tons marine litter. The overall average cost around $52 million US. So since 2012 to 2019, they have collected 675,000 tons marine litter. Next, please. And Korea also have the compensation mechanism to pay the fishermen to collect the waste during fishing. In China, there is a case study in Xijintang village in Leyvingang. Among 40,000 tons net discarded, about 35,000 tons net became useful goods. Next, please. Since 2006, NOWPAP has organized the International Coastal Cleanup Campaign in this region. Those pictures are taken in the past few years. Next, please. We have also worked closely with NGOs in this region. They are very important partners for us. For example, like Rendu reported that by the end of 2019, 299 campaigns organized, and with more than 14,000 participants in the campaigns and 37.1 tons marine litter collected. So next, please. The ongoing activities for NOWPAP is that we are upgrading the NOWPAP Regional Action Plan on marine litter. We are also in the process to unify the data collection template among the 4 member states, and then we can conduct the deeper analysis among the 4 member states. We are going to organize the marine litter management workshop in Japan in September this year, and also one special project on monitoring and assessment method for microplastics pollution is ongoing. Another project is microplastics abundance in river runoff of the NOWPAP region is ongoing. And thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Ning, for your presentation. Yes, it's really a good overview of what is happening. We have a question for you, but if you can't answer it, so we will be able to come back with an answer. So the question is from Luke Douglas. Are you able to tell more about fee-inducing plastic charge in Japan?
Oh. This
so
is
whether to you or we have representatives of Ministries of Environment as well, Minister of Environment. So over to you, Nick.
I only can give very brief, the introduction that the ministry issued the new act to impose fees to the plastics bags checkout in all stores in Japan. But we have a speaker, Keiji from the Ministry of Environment of Japan. He can give more details later.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ning. And with this, as you just introduced, we have Nakashima-san from the Ministry of Environment in Japan, who will introduce the G20 implementation, implementation framework for actions on marine plastic litter. Nakashima-san, over to you.
Good morning. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Good morning. And
yes, it's okay.
Yeah. Good morning and good afternoon. My name is Nakashima Keiji. I'm a director of the Office of Policies Against Marine Plastic Pollution, Ministry of the Environment. Today, I would like to present G20 implementation framework for action on marine plastic litters. So, unfortunately, I'm not preparing about the plastic bags of the fee, but maybe I should mention it later. So, next slide, please. In 2019, G20 leaders shared the Osaka Ocean Vision as a common global vision which aims to reduce additional pollution by marine plastic litter to zero by 2050. G20 leaders also called on other members of the international community to share this vision to protecting the world's ocean. This vision has already been shared by as many as 86 countries in the region, going well beyond the G20 boundary and approaching half of the world. Next, please. Next, please. In, in order to achieve the vision, G20 implementation framework was adopted on G20 Environment Ministers meeting and later endorsed by G20 Osaka Summit. G20 implementation framework is to facilitate further concrete action on marine litter and focus on facilitating the effective implementation and collaborating among G20 members and outreach activities. Through facilitation of effective implementation, it is encouraged not only to promote a life cycle approach, including sound waste management, marine litter cleanup, promotion, and the development of innovative solutions and international cooperation, but also to share and update information on relevant policies, plans, and measures. Through collaboration among G20 member and outreach activities, it's encouraged to promote international cooperation and innovative solutions, to share scientific information and knowledge, to promote multi-stakeholder involvement, and to raise awareness. Next, please. In October 2019, based on the G20 implementation framework, Japan hosted the follow-up event to share and report measures and best practices and to promote those measures and practices to achieve Osaka Evolution Vision. As outcomes of this meeting, including G20 report on actions against marine plastic litter and roadmap for G20 resource efficiency dialogue. Next, please. At the follow-up meeting, Japan-US-EU joint workshop on marine plastic litter was held, where experts discussed scientific knowledge and innovative solutions. As a result, it was decided that the Ministry of the Environment Japan would lead the agenda on harmonized monitoring and data compilation. EUDZ environment on sources, pathways, impacts, and combat measures of plastic waste leakage, and US EPA on innovation solutions for reducing marine plastic litter in order to enhance and strengthen scientific. Next, please. A lot of international organizations have expressed their contribution to the G20 implementation framework. Their contributions include capacity development of waste management, investing in circular economy, and promoting sustainable alternative materials. International organization plays an important role as catalysts in promoting cross-country cooperation, policy guidance, international regional research, knowledge sharing, and capacity building. For example, United Nations Industrial Development Organization, UNIDO, conducts projects on sustainable alternative materials in Africa, Global Environment Facility, GEF, promotes investing in circular economy and the chemical relevant projects. Next, please. Next, please. Next,
It should
please.
have come. Yeah.
Yeah, I cannot see it.
Takashima-san, this slide is up.
Yeah, thank you. Oh,
yeah.
Well, maybe can we turn one slide?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is. As a follow-up of the G20 implementation framework, the second round of G20 report on action against marine plastic litter was developed in September 2020. This is the second compilation report on policies and measures with regard to marine plastic litter. This report was prepared under the responsibility of Kingdom of Saudi Arabia as the 2020 G20 presidency. Compared to the first report published last year, the second report targeted a wider variety of entities, including 12 non-G20 countries and 10 international organizations. I would like to present some examples from the second report. For example, the Maldives has set up waste treatment facility in 3 regions that can recover energy from waste. In Japan, the government promotes the collection and the treatment of marine litter by encouraging fishermen to take action on the collection and the treatment of sediment marine litter using the subsidy system. We are consulting with Italy, the host country of the next G20, to continue preparing the third report. Next, please. Next, please. Yeah. With the G20 workshop on scientific knowledge and innovative solution, deciding that Japan will take a lead on monitoring methodology, as I mentioned. Japan is working towards harmonization of monitoring harmony and establishment of a database. Though field survey on marine plastic have been conducted mainly by developed countries due to differences in the methods and the units, it has been difficult to compare results. Due to this condition, scientific knowledge as the basis for taking measures was lacking. The Ministry of the Environment Japan released this document in May 2019 and its revision in June 2020. Harmonizing monitoring methods and enabling data comparison has been discussed in the international arena, including G20 and the Union. Next, please. In September 2020, a G20 workshop was held by the Ministry of the Environment Japan to further discuss the need for and how to promote the harmonization of monitoring methods and the global data sharing on marine plastic litter. Following the achievement of the certain result on harmonization, about 160 government officials and experts from 31 countries participated in the workshop and introduced their efforts to harmonize data sharing and the monitoring methods. Japan's proposal for a new global monitoring data sharing system was welcomed by the participants. In response to these results, we held an international workshop in January and March 2021 to further discuss the specific specifications of the database and the data provision. This slide concludes my presentation. We would like to continue to further expand the Osaka Blue Ocean Vision concept and the G20 implementation framework to the rest of the world. To achieve this goal, we also intend to promote measures against marine plastics in cooperation with many other countries and organizations. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nakashima-san. I don't see any questions to you yet. So please, we see questions for Ning, which will come back in Q&A part of our meeting. If you have any question, I'm talking to the audience, please. If you have any questions to Nakashima-san, please write in the chat box. And now we're moving to the presentation on the third regional overview of marine litter in the NOWPAP region. Sunny, over to you.
Good afternoon and good morning, everyone. I'm Sanuk Hong, who is the head of our CEO East Asia Network, OCEAN. OCEAN is an independent non-profit research organization that is a group of experts who want to contribute to the solution of marine debris problem. Personally, I've involved with this issue for 20 years. First of all, thank you very much for having me here. As a project manager, I would like to sincerely thank the people from member states who have provided helpful information and critical feedback in the progress of the report. Even after the first draft came out in September 2019, there have been many achievements. Through the update, we've tried to reflect the comprehensive review of marine litter in the NOWPAP region as much as possible. Today, I'm going to briefly provide key findings, the gaps in knowledge. Please, back to the first slide. Okay. I'm explaining the first slide. Here you go. First slide, please. Yes, thank you. Please. Yes, so today I'm going to briefly provide key findings, the gaps in knowledge and implementation of regional action plan from the report of the third regional overview and introduce data collection template I suggested. Next slide, please. The first regional overview on marine litter in the region was done 13 years ago, and the second overview was done in 2011. In the past 9 years, the NOWPAP member states have shown a lot of development in legal, institutional, and financial frameworks. There has been exponential increase in scientific studies and understanding marine litter and especially microplastics. Member states have made tremendous efforts to combat marine litter at national and regional levels. So this study aimed to evaluate the progress as much as we can to find the gaps in knowledge and implementation of REM-MALI and to recommend to revise REM-MALI. The previous presentation introduced the revised new regional action plan, so my presentation explains its baseline assessment. Next slide, please. This is showing the contents of the third regional overview and the method of each chapter. We first collected research papers and relevant reports on the quantitative information of marine litter and microplastic, such as abundance, type, source, and geographical distribution. Then we collected information on the negative impact. Through the review of 120 papers, we covered macro, meso, and micro-sized litter at beach, seawater, and sea bottom, and their major negative impacts on ecosystem and social economy. Recommended experts in each member state provided data to complete the chapter on legislature, policies, and action plans. The gap between knowledge and implementation was judged subjectively based on the result of the author's first data aggregation and then revised after review by member states and regional activity centers and other experts. Finally, all the information was aggregated and a comprehensive comparative analysis of similar existing web models led to suggestion on what needs to be improved first. So in the next slide, please next slide. I'm going to mention some of the results today. First, the abundance of marine litter in the region is summarized in this figure. Please compare the scale of the unit. For macro litter, the unit is 100 items per square meters, but for meso and micro litter, its abundance is exponentially increasing, such as 1,000 or 1 million. Left part of the chart is NOWPAP region, which was compared with other regions' result on the right side. So the abundance of microplastic in the region is higher than in other regions. Next slide, please. To understand the source, we could summarize this table. For macro litter, aquaculture-related expanded polystyrene, styrene buoys and ropes were serious in Korea. Plastic, wood, glass in China was inferred to be related to coastal and recreation-related activities. For microplastics, it is very hard to know the origin, but aquaculture as well as urbanization and industrial production were recognized as potential sources. Next slide, please. In comparison with the quantity-related studies, impact of marine litter has been significantly less studied. Only 27 papers were published to report negative impact on economy, navigation, birds habitat, tourism, and seafood safety. Next slide, please. This is the summary of our findings. The first table shows how much each state understands on the distribution sources and temporal trend. A stands for actively ongoing. O means ongoing. Research on beaches and seafloor is being actively conducted in all countries, mainly on macro and micro side. As for the source, every country is in progress. Long-term trends are also being identified in the 3 member states. Legal instruments such as law, regulation, and action plan have made progress in all member states. Of the 3 elements of REMALI, such as prevention, monitoring, and reduction, the preventive part is being actively carried out by all states. In Korea, in addition to macro beach litter monitoring, nationwide microplastic monitoring on beach, sea surface, sea bottom, and in biota began last year. So this is the brief result of the regional overview. Next slide, please. From now on, I'm going to talk about data collection. Many of the participants today are likely to be interested in how to aggregate marine litter data and provide it in a form that is easy for users to understand. In the NOWPAP region, it is quite difficult to collect data and present it to the regional node, even though there are only 4 countries. This is because data is collected in different ways, depending on the size, the method, and environmental compartments. There have been active discussions on how to use harmonized or standardized method, but it is more difficult. So my suggestion is to unify the data submitting form so that it can be more comparable. This slide is a snapshot of the Excel input template that collects metadata. My suggestion: we listed the information that should be collected when investigating and monitoring the abundance or density of marine litter and gave examples of it. Often, when collecting data at a regional level, you only present the actual data value. But when you gather information about the locations, intervals, or surveys, it becomes easier to interpret the data and increases the value as well. Next slide, please. the year, latitude, and longitude of each site, and abundance data in multiple units are beneficial for data processing at once. Drawing distribution maps is not that difficult as long as the data form is made like this. Next slide, please. What about the data templates? I also recommend the top 10 ranking for the most abundant items in terms of number or in terms of weight. It tells about what we have to put priority in prevention and reduction. Next slide, please. This slide shows examples of microplastics or major plastic surveys. It is basically same to macro litter data form, only except the plastic type or polymer type classification. Next slide, please. For encouraging data collection by citizens, I recommend mobile app so-called CleanSwell, developed by Ocean Conservancy of the United States. Because International Coastal Cleanup by Ocean Conservancy is the most popular public event in the NOWPAP region, and NOWPAP ICE organizes its annual event. So this is what I prepared. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Sunny. Really interesting this presentation. Do we have any questions to Sunny? So now I'm sorry we already have eaten up all our time, but still I have 3 questions, 2 to Ning and 1 to Nakashima-san. So in the meanwhile, if you have any questions to Sunny, please write in your chat box. So the first question from Lulu Yu to Ning Liu about NOWPAP. Your presentation, main national practices are introduced. Could you please expand on how NOWPAP interacts with the member states, including local governments, and also to reach out and engage more stakeholders to ensure maximum participation? Over to you, Ning.
Okay, thank you, Yek, and thank you for Ms. Liu to raise this question. As I introduced that, each member state nominated marine litter focal point, and also the NOWPAP intergovernmental meeting approved the terms of reference of the focal point. So they have a mandate to report the progress of national actions or policy changes addressing marine litter. The focal point also review the implementation of NOWPAP action plan, also approve the budget and the work plan on marine litter. Through focal point, we work with other institute from the member states. So I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, thank you very much. One more question to you, Ning, from Ludgard Coppens. What methods are used to remove marine litter apart from the beach cleaner?
Okay, thank you, Yek. Thank you very much, Lud. Thank you very much for the question. So, and the member states, they are using the boat specially designed to collect marine litter. And so this is one. Number 2 is they also to equip the portable compressor when the fishermen or the collectors to collect the foams, so to compress those. Another important facility is the reception facilities for fishermen. When they collect the waste, then they go to the port. They have facilities to receive those waste for free. Those very important facilities. So this is just some examples, and hope I answered your question.
Yeah, and also maybe I should add that preventive measures, like we already discussed, about this lack of free single-use plastic bags available in the shops. It's not a ban like in African countries, but still there are no free plastic bags available in the shop. So a number of preventive measures, also subsidies So if this question needs to be more elaborated, so we can elaborate and send by email. And one question to Nakashima-san from Luke Douglas. Please tell us more about any work in schools the Ministry of Environment is engaged with in doing regarding this initiative. So do you publicize this initiative and results in the schools? And also other in universities and so on. Please, over to you. You are muted. You are muted.
Okay. Yeah. Firstly, this initiative work for the mutual learning of the international government or international organization. So it means we worked for school. So we have not worked for school through this initiative, but of course we are working with the school organizer or school itself. And for example, I wonder 10 days ago, Minister of Environment, Mr. Koizumi, have a dialogue with the school students several times, and also we have a webinar for targeting for the school students. So we act effort is something like this. And also, sorry, I should mention about the plastic bag. So I wonder Monday that the retailers could charge for the plastic bags they hand out when they sell their products. And however, they can be given out for free if they contain a certain amount of biodegradable plastic. But as a result, we have I have heard that about 70% of plastic bags have been reduced after introducing the mandate. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Since I don't see any more questions, and I'm happy that we have only 3 people left after 1 hour expired. So that means the audience is really interested in what we're discussing here. So before I close, I want really to thank all the panelists for your interesting presentation. So you presented different scope of what how marine litter is addressed in the NOWPAP region by different stakeholders. I think that gives a flavor of what we're doing here. So of course, more information is available on the websites and also in NOWPAP. I also want to thank those participants who really made this session interactive. I know it's difficult to make it interactive when you're working in a regime of a monologue, but still with questions received, and I hope the answers were really good. If you still feel that you need additional information on various aspects presented during this webinar, please do not hesitate to contact me. Email is extremely easy, yegor.volovik@un.org. And I will forward all questions and messages to the corresponding panelists. So with this, I want to close this webinar, and thanks to everyone again. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.